Welcome to Picks with the Professor, the podcast where a real statistics professor
And Jake.
gives you sports betting tips. I am Professor Sides. You can follow me and find all my picks on Twitter at Professor Sides. Today is Tuesday, February 2nd, 2022, and this episode covers today's best college basketball bets. In case you're new here, I have built a mathematical model that predicts what the spread and total should be for every Division I college basketball game. That information, along with a graded A, B, or C pick for each of today's games, is available in the Google Sheet linked in the show's description. Picks that get an A are the ones I love, picks that get a B are the ones I like, and picks that get a C are the leans. However, please remember that good and bad variance will occur. So as much as I'd like to say the model will be profitable each and every day, that is an impossible reality for any gambler. Jake, yesterday we had our second losing day of the last 10 for the model. So still an overall really good run, looking to bounce back tonight. I outlined why the number was good for Northwestern, why that was an A pick for me, but why I couldn't trust them as an A plus pick. And my goodness, that was sadly foretold that story. But you went 6-1 on all your picks last night, so bravo to you, Jake.
It's about time I had a great night. It felt good, It just felt
it
good.
was impressive. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, but Northwestern obviously giving up a 24-point lead. We had some bad beats last night with that. The 24-point lead there, the absolutely useless layup Texas A&M took in the Tennessee game at the end to go from a 12-point to a 10-point game, and then the whole blown call and technical in the Louisville North Carolina game totally flipped that from Louisville looking like they're going to cover to nowhere near it. So it was just a rough go with it. And then I want to give a shout out to Gloria Gay. Every pick she commented she hit last night. She hit Kansas, Fresno State to cover, Davidson to cover, and the over in the Texas Tech game. So congrats to you too. You had a great night with me.
Yep. Well done. That over in the Texas Tech game was a lot easier than I ever thought it would be for that one. But before we get to today's slate reminder, please like, subscribe, follow, rate. We appreciate all of those things. They help us out greatly. Drop a comment if you're on YouTube. We love those. We try to respond to as many as we can. And hey, if you have a great night, we'll give you a shout out as well. Don't forget about the live Saturday show on YouTube, 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central. We'll do our usual show, and then we'll answer questions. We'll talk about whatever games you want to talk about. But tonight, Jake, we've got a pretty solid slate, in my opinion. A lot of games that I liked here tonight. We're going to start off with a small school that we've played a lot this year, 7 p.m. Central, Chattanooga at Samford. Chattanooga is a 7-point favorite. It's a B pick for me backing Chattanooga. The model thinks it should be 8.7. The model is 3-1 on A or B picks of Chattanooga this year. Jake, my question for you, this is a kind of large number on the road, so I'm curious to hear why you think we still like them despite that being a big number on the road.
Well, we like them, one, because they've made us a good amount of money this year. That's always
there
fun.
You go, and that's what matters, right?
Yeah, that's what really matters. But as from an actual basketball standpoint, they are a very solid team. They're very solid defensively. Nothing absolutely special on the defensive end. They do very well. They shoot the three incredibly well, and they've got a bona fide superstar in Malachi Smith. He's seventh in the nation in scoring with 21 and change a game, and there's not really a matchup in that conference for him. It'll be kind of fun to watch Glover kind of go with him, but Glover's not on the same talent level. And this Malachi Smith kid, if you haven't had a chance to watch him, and I would recommend watching him because he's just a lot of fun to watch. He's just an incredible player. And then David Baptiste is one of the best three-point shooters in the nation and is having a great year. So I think they cover pretty well just because they're just overall more talented than the Samford team. The Samford team has lost 6 of their last 9. It's not a good role for them.
All right. Yep. Chattanooga, again, the play for us tonight. We've been riding them. I say, let's keep doing it. We've got a couple of Big Ten games. The first one is 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Purdue is a 10.5-point favorite at Minnesota. I'm playing the over 142 as a B pick. The model thinks it should be 146. To me, when I look at this Minnesota team, I've seen them a handful of times this year. They tend to play, I think, the style of their competition. If the other team wants to slow it down, they kind of go with that. The other team wants to speed it up, they kind of go with that. They don't really control things well, which makes sense being a little bit of a weaker, talented team. Not many teams have slowed Purdue down. I don't see Minnesota being able to do it. So I think Purdue's going to be able to play their type of game, lots of points. Jake, which side are you on for this one?
I'm actually taking Purdue. I know they don't typically travel well. They're 1-3 as a road favorite, but I think this matchup leads towards Purdue. Like Minnesota's best player in battle is a big guy, and of course we know that Purdue's got probably the best 1-2 combo from big guys, and then also even has First now that's back to playing well since his little COVID break. And I know Battle can step out, but Williams and even Edie moves pretty well, and then First can follow him anywhere. So then, if I'm not sure how healthy Jaden Ivey is, he came off the bench again last game, so I don't know if that's a new strategy, which I kind of like that, or if that was like a health minutes restriction kind of thing. But if Purdue can get going offensively, there's nothing anybody can do. Like
Yep.
it's just incredible when they get going. But it's the defensive side and the free throws they've been struggling with here recently. So I wouldn't take it if it moves up later in the day. I wouldn't take it too much higher than this 10.5. But 10.5 right now is a good number, and I don't think Minnesota's got enough to keep it under like 15 or so.
Gotcha. All right. And then the other Big Ten game of the night here, Wisconsin at Illinois, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. Illinois is a 7-point home favorite. It's an underplay for me on the 139.5. The model thinks it should be 137. I think maybe a little bit of a hot take here, lukewarm take. Wisconsin has played a lot of higher scoring games lately, but I think that's mostly due to their competition. I think they really want to play a little bit slower than they've been, and Illinois really does want to play slow. You've seen them mostly be an under team this year. The only high scoring game they've had lately was that double overtime game against Purdue, which was under until overtime. Illinois, especially now with Kofi back, they want to be a little more deliberate offensively, and obviously it's hard to score anything in the paint with Kofi,
Yeah.
protecting the rim down there. I think Illinois wants to play this game under. I think Wisconsin's going to be happy to do that as well. So I like under 139.5 here in this matchup. Jake, which side are you on?
I'm actually on Illinois. I think Wisconsin is running into an issue with big guys, and looks like Tyler Wall is as good as he is. They just don't have anybody that can bang with Kofi. Even though Tyler Wall can step out, the I can't say the guy's name, but it's got like it sounds like he has like 5 names for Illinois, like for Verdon, Vergis. I can't remember his name, but with his emergence and Omar Payne, they can kind of step out and handle him and allow Kofi to kind of stay back. And then the guards they have, especially if Corbello ends up playing tonight, I haven't seen the latest update on him, but I mean
I
we've
think we're
talked
still
about
up in
Trent
the air
Forrest
on that.
before. Yeah,
hmm
so
hmm
the way they can play with him, they can play Kofi in the middle and then spread everybody out. And I think like Wisconsin just needs too many things to go right. They need Tyler Wall to be on his game. They need Brad Davidson to keep going what he's got going right now, and Johnny Davis to show up. And I think it's just a little too much for a team that plays a very similar pace and doesn't turn the ball over. Like there's not any glaring mistakes you could take advantage of on Illinois. So I think Illinois does it at home.
Right. I think that makes a lot of sense. And just thinking about Illinois, it really does remind me of last year, the way they kind of got rolling. And this year, they, having some of the injury issue, the concussion issue, I guess, for Kofi, kind of maybe stunted that start a little bit. But I feel like they're really starting to play well here towards the end of the season, kind of reminiscent to last year. They're a team that I would not want to go up
Yeah.
against at this point. And then the game of the night, a really late tip off here, 9 p.m. Central. That'd be local time for Marquette. Villanova is a 4-point road favorite. I've got a B pick on Villanova -4. The model thinks it should be 6.5. Jake, I hate this pick. I'm I'm trusting the process. I'm trusting my numbers. But man, Marquette, the way they've been playing, we've talked about them a lot. They're a tough team to fade, and Villanova, I feel like, has been a little disappointing. To me, I think this is an interesting game because I think most people trusting their numbers are going to be like me and they're going to lay the points. I think this is going to be a very sharps versus squares type game. And that doesn't mean which side is right because we talk about this, right? I want to make sure everyone's clear on this. When we talk about a sharps versus squares game, it's not that the sharps are, going to win 100% of them, right? They're going to win barely more than 50% of them. So anything could still happen in this one. But just looking at it from I've seen these teams play, my heart says this pick is awful, but I'm going to trust the numbers. I'm going to go with Nova. I may look like a fool, but I'm the math guy. I've got to stick with the math. Jake, tell us your side of the story here.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite end. I like this Marquette team. I love the way they're playing recently. They really had a chance with Providence. This is going to be a huge game when it comes to impact on standings in the Big East, and it could even seeding for Marquette come March. But I think Justin Lewis is just such a hard matchup for Villanova, like because he plays as such a big guy, and he's not that tall, but he just plays so big. And Villanova's got a thin bench, and they really don't have any like real bangers down low besides Dixon, and it's just going to be a tough time for them to put Marquette away at Marquette. They struggled to do it at home and ended up losing the game, so I don't think they can do that on the road. This and Shaka Smart's really got this defense playing well, but I mean, if Villanova, the only saving grace for Villanova is if they get their threes going, you're not going to make a comeback at the end because they're I believe, if not the top, they're in the top 3 for free throw shooting as a team. So you're not going to make that comeback based on them missing free throws. So if they can get ahead and stay ahead, they'll cover it. But I think Marquette is going to keep it close all game in a nick and tuck battle, and then I think Marquette pulls it out in the end with home court.
All right, yeah, this one it's not a plug your nose and play game, right? The plug your nose and play games are the like really bad underdogs that you hate to back, but this kind of feels like that for me, right? For me, this is I don't like it, which is weird to say for a favorite, right? Usually it's easy to back favorites, but with the way Marquette's playing, it's really tough for me to do this. But I'm on Villanova -4. Jake, you're on Marquette. We'll have another head to head here and see how that goes. Which takes us into our buzzer beaters, your exclusive pod content here. The A+ pick of the day. If you've already seen the sheet, you think I'm going Clemson. I'm not. I'm going 5 p.m. Central Time, Abilene Christian -17 versus Chicago State. It is a giant number, but listen, I think people don't realize how bad Chicago State is. They did show signs of life early in the season. They had a few covers early on, but lately they have been just as bad as they were in previous seasons. I think Abilene Christian is just going to dominate this game. This is going to be one of those 30, 40 point ugly games. That's my A+ pick of the day. Back Abilene Christian. Don't be afraid of that big number. The best B side, 6 p.m. Central. Virginia Military VMI +2.5 at UNC Greensboro. The model is 5-0 on A or B plays of VMI. I think this should be about a pick 'em. I'm not overly confident that VMI wins this game. I just think there's a lot of value either on the money line or +2.5. I think this should be a really tight game. VMI is the better team on the road. So again, this should be a coin toss game. So you're getting a couple of free points there. So that's the best B side for me. Every dog has its day, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. UNC Asheville, I'm taking them on the money line, +140 as an A pick at home against Longwood. The model is 6-3 on A or B picks of Asheville. I think they get the win. I think the wrong team is favored in this one. And just, hey, a reminder, you don't have to watch them to make the monies, right? We talk about that often. This is a game of smaller schools. You may not know them. That's okay. They can still make us some money. And then I'm going to close out this segment on my end. Little afternoon delight for you here, 2 p.m. Central Time. I'm taking Florida -5.5. That's an A pick for me at Missouri. This game was moved up to the afternoon because of the bad weather that we're expecting here in the Midwest and the South. And that's going to lead to probably very few fans, very few students at this game. Everyone's staying home, staying warm inside, not wanting to be out on the icy roads. I don't expect a lot of people there, and that's going to take away any form of home court. So I think Florida can go, get this done on the road as a business trip. Missouri being home there, maybe distracted a little bit. Castleton, we never know if he's coming back. He could come back at any moment, or his season could be done. Who knows, really? With the way that's going. It didn't matter this last weekend. They looked great in the second half in that comeback victory against Oklahoma State. Missouri is no Oklahoma State, so I think Florida can get us an easy victory there and start our day off right in the afternoon. Jake, what are your buzzer beaters?
I'm all over this Arkansas game. Georgia is bad. Besides Alabama, they lost, I think, 9 of their last 10. So the Alabama game looks like a fluke, and Chady Note needs to be talked about more. He's leading the SEC in scoring and steals, just an incredible player that's flying under the radar. And then I love Missouri State. They're just a better all-around team. They'll cover this 2 on the road against this Southern Illinois team that's not nowhere near as good. And I absolutely love Florida and the VMI picks today. Those are really good.
All right. Well, that's all we've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Picks with the Professor. Reminder, check out that Google Sheet for all picks and totals on today's games. If you haven't done so yet, click that subscribe button for a new episode every weekday of the college basketball season and that live episode on Saturday where we will discuss any game you want to talk about, no matter how big or small. We will see you tomorrow. And until then, remember, you can eat your betting money, but please don't bet your eating money.